Hello students, I am Srihari A. I have done my BTech in Mechanical Engineering from IIT Madras and MS by Research in Mechanics from also IIT Madras. So today I am going to take the topic pseudo forces, which is very important for both JEE Main, Advanced and NEET exams. So pseudo forces. So what are the pseudo forces? Pseudo forces means an imaginary force or a fictitious force. That means we cannot observe or we cannot see these forces. So to discuss about this application of the pseudo forces, it is very essential to know about what is a frame of reference. So frame of reference. Frame of reference. So what is a frame of reference? So frame of reference is a combination of two elements. One is a convenient coordinate system and a clock. So coordinate system, when it is combined with a clock with the observer at the origin, then we call it as a frame of reference. Therefore, a coordinate system, especially a convenient coordinate system. We have different types of coordinate system, but we have to choose a very convenient coordinate system plus a clock. This we call it as the frame of reference, FR. And here in the coordinate system, the observer will be at the origin, that is the intersection of the three axes. So among the different types of coordinate system, the most common is Cartesian coordinate system and also known as rectangular coordinate system. So in this coordinate system, we have three axes which are mutually perpendicular. One we call it as x-axis, another one we call it as y-axis, and they are mutually perpendicular. And the third one is mutually perpendicular to both x and y axis. That is, just have a look here. So this is our x-axis, this is our y-axis, and this is our z-axis, which are mutually perpendicular. So in this case, the z-axis will be perpendicular to the board and coming either towards us or going into the board. That will be the z-axis. So z-axis generally we show like this. This is our z-axis. So these are mutually perpendicular to each other, and this we call it as Cartesian coordinate system, or also known as a rectangular coordinate system, because they are mutually perpendicular. They are all mutually perpendicular. That's why it is also called a rectangular coordinate system. So here, this is the origin. That is the interaction of three axes will be the origin. So he is the observer. So observer is going to stand here and he is going to wear a clock and he is going to choose x direction, y direction and z direction as shown in the figure. So what is the purpose of this coordinates, that is frame of reference? When we want to measure or identify the position of a body or an object with the time, or the velocity of an object with time, then we are going to use this frame of reference. That is the purpose of this frame of reference. Now, there are two types of frames of reference. We have two types of frames of reference. That is, one is called inertial frame of reference. Inertial frame of reference. And second one is called non-inertial frame of reference. Non-inertial frame of reference. So what are these? Inertial frame of reference and non-inertial frame of reference. Inertial, as you know, the character of the body that does not allow the body to change its state of rest or of uniform motion unless an external net force is going to act on the body. That means here Newton's laws are obeyed. So in inertial frame, if sigma f net is equal to 0. The sum of external forces is equal to 0, then the acceleration of the body is 0, that is A equal to 0, and that implies no change of state of the body. No change of state of body. That's why we call this as inertial frame of reference. So in inertial frame of reference, we are going to apply the equation sigma F net external forces is equal to MA. So sum of external forces is equal to MA, so that we can find the unknown forces when we know the acceleration of the body and mass of the body. That we call it as inertial frame. So what is non-inertial frame? Just opposite. That means the Newton's laws of motion are not obeyed here in the natural form. So Newton's laws are not obeyed here, but here Newton's laws are obeyed. So Newton's laws are not obeyed. Newton's laws are not obeyed. Newton's laws are not obeyed. So here they don't obey the Newton's laws, not obeyed. That means what? Here, when no external forces, known external forces are acting on the body, but body is going to accelerate. That's why we say it is not following the Newton's laws. So that's why we call it as non-inertial frame of reference. So in non-inertial frame of reference, when we want to apply Newton's laws, then we have to include or we have to add a one force that we call it as pseudo force. So where we have to use the pseudo force? In non-inertial frame, when we want to apply the Newton's laws. So what is the value of that pseudo force, and what is the direction of that pseudo force? So here the pseudo force, which we write as F pseudo, is equal to minus MA. So what is this value? Magnitude is equal to MA. That means what? M is the mass of the body, and A is acceleration of observer. Acceleration of observer. That means acceleration of the frame of reference. That is the values M into A. So what is this negative sign indicate? The negative sign indicate this pseudo force must be added in a direction opposite to the acceleration of the observer. That is the meaning of this negative sign. So once we include or we add this pseudo force, then we are going to solve the problem in non-inertial frame, just like we are solving problems in inertial frame by applying Newton's laws of motion. So that is the meaning of the pseudo force and the application of the pseudo force. So whenever we want to solve or we want to apply that is Newton's laws in non-inertial frame, then we have to add the pseudo force. And what is the direction of that pseudo force? It must be opposite to the direction of acceleration of the observer. That is acceleration of the frame of reference. That you have to keep in mind. Now, to understand how to apply this pseudo force and how to solve the problem, let us take one simple example. So the best example and foremost simple example is lift problem. Let us take a lift. Here a block is suspended from the ceiling of a lift and the mass of block is M. The lift is accelerating in the upward direction. So now let us take an observer on the ground. So here is an observer on the ground, and he is observing this lift which is accelerating upwards. So this man is standing on the ground, and we call this ground as inertial frame because the angular velocity of earth is very, very small value. That's why we call this as inertial frame. So as the observer is on the inertial frame, now directly we can apply the Newton's laws. So now I want to find what is the tension in this string. That is my problem. So to find the tension, what are the forces that are acting on the block? Now let us see what are the forces here. First force is the gravitational force, they are the weight of the block, and second one is tension. And tension will always act away from point of contact. It is very important. It will always act away from point of contact. That means tension is always considered as a pull force. It never pushes the body. It is always going to pull the body. So this is, we call it as force diagram. So what are the forces acting on the block? One is mg vertically downward, and second one is the tensile vertically upwards. Now try to draw the free body diagram to apply the Newton's law. So take the block. What are the forces? With proper direction indicate the forces. Mg vertically downwards and tensile vertically upwards, and acceleration is also upwards. This is a free body diagram for the block. So free body diagram for the block. Now apply Newton's second law. So what is Newton's second law? Sum of external forces, sigma F net is equal to m into a, where m is the mass of the body, a is acceleration of the observer, acceleration of the body. That means here there are two forces. So what is the direction? Sigma F net, when you write, you have to indicate with proper direction. So which direction has to be taken as positive and which direction has to be taken as negative? The forces that are acting in the direction of acceleration, that must be taken as positive, and the opposite one should be taken as negative. Therefore, T minus mg is equal to ma. So what is tension now? Tension in the string, T is equal to mg plus ma, that is equal to m into g plus a. That is the tension in the string. Now we want to solve the same problem in non-inertial frame. In non-inertial frame. So now take the second case. We want to solve the problem in non-inertial frame. Therefore, now this is our lift. So lift is accelerating upwards. This is our string which is massless. This is the block M. And now the observer is inside the lift. So he is inside the lift. That means what? He is in non-inertial frame because it is accelerating frame. All accelerating frames, they are called non-inertial frames. Whereas the frames that are moving at rest with respect to the ground are moving with uniform speed. They are all called inertial frames. Therefore, this is non-inertial frame. So now, what is acceleration of the observer with respect to the lift? What is the relative acceleration? So relative acceleration is equal to acceleration of the observer minus acceleration of the lift. But he is also in the lift, no. Therefore, his acceleration is also equal to a. So a relative is equal to a minus a, that is equal to 0. That means the acceleration of observer relative to the lift is equal to 0. So now, what are the forces acting on this block with respect to this observer who is in the non-inertial frame? tension upwards and mg downwards. These are only forces. Therefore, now if you apply Newton's second law, T is equal to mg because acceleration is equal to 0. So T is equal to mg. What is this? Here, non-inertial frame, inertial frame, we got tension equal to m into g plus a. But non-inertial frame, we got T equal to mg. What is wrong with this? And when we conduct the same experiment in a lab, we are able to find this result is correct. And this is not the correct result. So why the result has gone wrong? What is wrong with this observer? That is, as the observer is in a non-inertial frame, he has to include a pseudo force. That pseudo force is equal to mass of the block into acceleration of the observer, and it should be opposite to the direction of the acceleration of the observer. Therefore, we have to include one pseudo force which is equal to mass times acceleration of the observer. Now you apply the Newton's second law. So what happens now? Draw the free body diagram for the block. Tension upwards, mg downwards, ma downwards. This is the free body diagram for the block. So now apply Newton's second law here. So T is equal to mg plus ma, that is equal to m into g plus a. So result is same. So that means whenever we want to solve problems in non-inertial frame by applying Newton's laws, we have to include or we have to add one pseudo force which is equal to mass times the acceleration of the observer in a direction opposite to the direction of the acceleration of the observer. Then you can work out as if you are working with inertial frame and applying Newton's laws. So that is the way we have to solve problems in non-inertial frame. So now let us take one small example here that is asked in 2005 IIT exam. So this problem is asked in 2005 IIT and 2018 NEET. So this is IIT JEE and this is NEET. Same problem they have asked in NEET also. That problem is a block of mass m is placed on an incline of inclination theta. What acceleration must be given to the incline so that the block is at rest with respect to the incline. So this is a best example to understand the application of these pseudo forces. So diagram is also given here. This is the incline. This is the block of mass m and inclination is theta. So this is the acceleration of the incline. So we want to find what is this acceleration of the incline so that the block will be at rest. That means what? With respect to the incline, the block should be stationary. That's what you want to find. So under that condition, I want to find what is this value of A. For that, First identify where is the observer. So observer is on the incline. That is, one madam is standing here on the incline. So this madam want to calculate what is the value of A. That means this observer is on an accelerating frame, that is non-inertial frame. So now where is his x-axis and y-axis? So where he is going to choose? For that, what he is going to do is, for his convenience, he will take the incline as x-axis and normal to the incline as y-axis. Because coordinate system is attached to the observer. So observer is on the incline, therefore he will take x-axis along the incline and y-axis will be normal to the incline. So now, what are the forces acting on the block? So different forces are, first one, foremost one is mg, which is always vertically downwards. Second one is the normal reaction of the incline on the block, that is normal to the surface, that is normal to the incline. So these are the two forces now. But as I told you already, observer is in non-inertial frame. Therefore, he has to add one pseudo force opposite to the direction of the acceleration of the observer. So this acceleration is toward the right. So he has to include now one pseudo force which is MA opposite to the direction of A. That means towards left. Then the problem solving is similar to doing problems with Newton's law in inertial frame. So these are the forces now. What is our next step? All the forces are not acting either along x-axis or along y-axis. So in that case, we are interested in forces acting along x-axis or along y-axis. So what are the forces acting along x-axis? Only no force acting along x-axis, but only one force is acting along y-axis. So what about remaining the forces? mg is not acting along x-axis, ma is also not acting along x-axis or y-axis. So in that case, I have to find what are the components of this mg force along x and y, and what are the components of ma along x and y-axis. And whenever you want to find the component, first you have to form a right angle triangle so that you can find the components of this force. So how to form right angle triangle now? This is vertically down. So this is 90 degree. So this is theta. Therefore this is 90 minus theta. What I want now? I want to resolve this mg along x-axis and along y-axis. So this is our y-axis. Extend this y-axis. Then what is this angle? This is x-axis. This is y-axis. So this is perpendicular to each other. So what is this angle now? This is 90 minus theta. Total is 90. Therefore 90 minus theta. That is this angle, which is equal to theta. So now how to form the right angle triangle? This is my y-axis. So if I draw a perpendicular to this y-axis, then I am going to get a right angle triangle. So this is 90 degree. Because this is x-axis, y-axis, and this is x-axis. Means it is parallel to the incline. This line is parallel to the incline. So what I have done is, I have drawn a parallel to the incline. So this will be now y and this is x, and we know they are mutually perpendicular. So now this is a right angle triangle. Because this is theta, this angle is theta, this is 90, this is now hypotenuse. Mg will become hypotenuse. This will become adjacent side, this will become opposite side. Therefore, this will be now mg cos theta and this will be mg sin theta. Right? Next force is what? Ma. So MA is horizontal to this. So what is this one now? This is theta we have. Then what is this angle here? This is vertically down, isn't it? And this is horizontal. So totally this is, we have 90 degree. So this will become, this is theta, no? Therefore this angle will be now 90 minus theta. But these two are, what is these two? They are parallel to each other. So what is these two now? They are mutually perpendicular. Therefore this will become again angle theta. So now resolve this. Resolve this MA. So one will become upward, that is MA cos theta. Other one will be MG sin theta. So these are the components of the forces. So what are the components now? Take the block. Draw the free body. Identify the forces. One is mg sin theta, because this is along x-axis. Next, this is ma cos theta. This is mg cos theta, and this is ma sin theta, and this is n. These are the forces acting on the block. So now what I want here? Vertically it is not going to move. Motion cannot be possible. So only the block is going to slide along x-axis. That means for the block to be at rest, net force should be equal to 0 along the x-axis. Therefore, sigma f net along x-axis must be equal to 0. So what I will get now? mg sin theta must be equal to ma cos theta. So that what happens now? Both the forces will be balanced on the block, and the block will be at rest. So dividing by m on both sides, because m is common on both sides. Therefore we can get now a is equal to, I want acceleration, so g into sin theta divided by cos theta. Sin theta divided by cos theta. So that is equal to tan theta. So g tan theta. So if you give an acceleration g tan theta to the incline, then the block will be at rest relative to the incline. So that is application of this pseudo forces.